Hello and welcome to Lovett Film. My name is Jamie and we have a good show for you today. We have Nicole G. Leier. Nicole is an American filmmaker and she's great at what she does, okay? Her philosophy in life is called Rockying, okay? And if you're not sure what that is, it is something to do with the Rocky movies. Stay tuned for the interview and you'll hear all about that. One of her newest movies, Trapped in the Spotlight, stars Monique Coleman. You might recognize her from High School Musical. She, of course, was brilliant in that. We also have Melissa Ford. It was a great film. I can't wait to get into the interview. I did it earlier on, so here we go. Nicole G. Leier. Hello.
Hey.
Nicole, how you doing? Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Where are you hailing from? Los Angeles?
Yeah, I'm in LA.
Oh, cool. I'm here in Ireland. I'd love for some Los Angeles weather. I mean, it's always cold here, raining. I mean, I was only talking to my girlfriend the other day and we were thinking about going on vacation there. It's just, you guys have to do
There's nowhere better than Ireland. I love Ireland.
I like it too, but I mean, you guys make the movies. That's what we're all about as well. So I'd love to go there. Nicole, thank you so much for coming on the show. Of course, you are a filmmaker. You're good at what you do. I recently watched Trapped in the Spotlight, which is one of your films, which I loved, by the way. It was just something I haven't seen. I love, in the age of movies being very predictable, I just love something brand new. And that film just blew me away and how different of a concept it was. Tell me a little bit about yourself, though, your journey, and how did you get into filmmaking?
Yeah, well, I don't have a particularly normal trajectory on how I got here. I didn't actually want to be a film director when I first started out. I wanted to be an actor. And for a really long time, I worked in the acting space, working on TV series, movies. I had a really wonderful film I got to work with Nicolas Cage on, which was like kind of a highlight of my acting career. And then at a certain point, I was working a lot with some different film people, and they're like, "We think you'd be really good at directing." And I had the opportunity to start to work with actor demo reels actually in New York and Los Angeles. So I was working with a company where I was shooting, we shot hundreds, if not more, of these actor demo reels and just learning to, the camera and all of those sorts of things. I also did time as a stand-in where I really learned my lenses and worked on every different department on a film set. And then after that, I put together a demo reel and started sending it out for directing interviews. And I got really lucky and got my first two projects under my belt. So, they say that you don't get lucky, you work really hard. It had been years of like working up to that, but that's how I kind of got my start. And then it was really exciting because I was like, oh my gosh, I can have total control. No, I'm joking. But I could tell the stories that I wanted to tell, and I could really express myself on both sides of the camera, which is something I think as artists is really important, is to be able, because the root of what we're doing is storytelling, and we want to make sure that these stories move forward, and the different stories from different people in different countries and different perspectives are told. And so that really got me exciting, and now of course I'm addicted to it.
Yeah. And I mean, hey, being an actor, I'd say, is the best sort of gateway into getting into telling stories and being in films. Was being an actor beforehand, did that help shape how you say run a production today?
Absolutely. I think that the sensitivity of an actor, but also the empathy and the understanding and the way which you see things is completely different, because you often hear of actors becoming actors, but you don't often hear of it the other way around, where people are directing or behind the camera or in these technical positions and then become actors. So it's very helpful to have both sides.
I'd say so, and particularly in when you're actually directing an actor, you're like, oh, I've been here before. I know what to tell these people. I know how to make them feel, hey, I value you here. I want this to just to be the best it can be. So I'd imagine that's great. And you mentioned work with Nicolas Cage too. I mean, I read that online. That must have been cool. He's a hero of mine. I don't know about you, but the Cage.
And that part was actually written for a male.
Really.
They didn't even want to really audition for have me audition for it. But I just said, can I just tape on my own? And then through the process, they actually ended up changing it to female and ended up giving me the part, which was something that was very, very special to me, and to work with him. And it was great. It was incredible. I mean, he's Oscar award winning Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
He does the coolest stuff. and great human to work with. I also want to talk about one of my favorite films, which is an Irish film, Kneecap.
Oh yeah, Kneecap. Yeah, we love Kneecap.
I don't know if we're allowed to say word, but I love Kneecap. It's like,
Yes, you can say that,
oh my fucking God, it's so fucking amazing.
isn't
The
it?
story and like the fact that they like, have you met those guys or talked to them about film?
Briefly, yeah. I don't think they would remember. I said hello to them at a film award, say last year, just before they were turning into the huge phenomenon they are now. But even in Ireland, particularly in the States, I mean, they're really blowing up. And we love them here too because they'd be from Northern Ireland, but they're all about the Irish language and,
Yes.
Irish pride and stuff like that. So yeah, we love Kneecap too. Yeah, very cool.
Just such an incredible film coming out of Ireland. I was really proud. And
Wasn't it? I mean, actors like Michael Fassbender as well in it. It's just, brilliant. Yeah.
yeah, really great work.
Yeah, would you like to work with Kneecap one day?
Oh, I would love that. I love Ireland so much. I got to spend, my husband's a cinematographer, Brendan Ugama, and he worked on a film, and we actually were in Ireland for 5 or 6 months. And so I got to write a new film over there, which I'm in development for, called Dublin Tales, which is another story we can talk about that after. But spending time with the Irish people and really learning how they like, you guys really care about people, and it's so different. Like, even in the coffee shop, when you go in the morning to get the coffee, or I mean, I was really going to a lot of the pubs, to be honest. When you go in, they really,
I mean, you're one of us, so, huh?
yeah, they're like, how are you? And they'll wait.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if there's a lineup. They're really, they want to know how you are, and it's very special. I learned so much from the
I
Irish.
mean, sorry to interrupt, but I'd spin that again. I'd say the same about people from the USA. I used to work in hospitality as a tour guide in a whiskey distillery here in Dublin, Ireland, where I'm from, born and raised. And, you guys coming in from the States, I'm always seeing the most friendly people. I've never had a bad, say, customer coming in from the US. It's all, oh, hey, how are you? My family's from, say, this county in Ireland. I love whiskey. I love Guinness. So I'd say the same about people from the States. What part of Ireland were you in? Were you here in Dublin?
So I've traveled around a little bit. We were in Dublin, and then we traveled to Tillamore, where we spent a lot of
Ah,
our time.
nice.
And then we went up to Cork, and
Hmm.
all we just, I mean, we went everywhere. And we were filming a lot just outside of Tillamore. There's the castle, the haunted castle there.
Yep.
And we spent a good majority of the time working there, which was incredible. I actually put an offer on a house just out of like, I loved it so much. It didn't end up happening. It was an old castle, but yeah, I really love the Irish people. And then my first time in Ireland, which is what my new movie is about, that I'm pitching right now, is about when I was on an arranged marriage on the black market.
Oh my God! Wow. What? Wait. So this is your story.
Yeah, this is a real space. So basically, when I was a young filmmaker, because this is for filmmakers and people learning, I always wanted to make my own film, and I was like, okay, fine, whatever. And to fund my first short film, somehow, we won't get into it too deep, but I met a person who had the opportunity where you could get married and get a certain amount of money if you go and marry somebody, and then they get their green card. And I said, fuck it, I'm in, let's go. I really want to get the funding for this film. And so how it works is, you look like you're a young girl going traveling, and then you fall in love, you take all the pictures, and it just happened to be that the place that they wanted this to happen was Ireland. But the
Oh my
funny thing
God.
is, at the end of the story, when I actually get to Ireland, the gentleman I was supposed to marry was actually madly in love with his girlfriend, and they begged me not to do it and to help them get out of it, which I do, which is, yeah. So that's was my first time to Ireland, and then this last time was just writing the story, going back to all the places, and revamping the story.
That is one hell of a story, and I look forward to seeing that on the big screen. I mean, that's
Me
just
too, man. Me too.
what. That's cool, though. I'm glad you appreciate Ireland. I mean, we appreciate that, being Irish. In terms of the stuff you've made, I really enjoyed, as I mentioned earlier, Trapped in the Spotlight. As I said, an original idea. I mean, we have Monique's character, where she was part of a duet, and they were really big. And then there's this big theme of abandonment, and also this lust for fame and the dangers of what that type of fame could do. And I just found the film to be fascinating from that aspect. I mean, what was the genesis of that movie?
Yeah, so I was working on another action film for BET before that. And one of the producers, Renee, wanted to do another film. He's like, I want to write this other film. He's also the writer of Trapped in the Spotlight. And so I was like, like lots of people talk or whatever. And then a little while passed and he came to me. He's like, the script is ready. Here's the script. I really want to make this. Can you help me bring it to fruition? And so eventually we took it back to the producers, Rebecca and Miles, who are good producers of mine. I've worked with them a few times now. And I said, you guys, I want to make this year. Can you make it happen? And they helped bring it to what it is now. But it was great. And then we were able to get Monique Coleman and Melissa Ford on board. And I think it's a really interesting concept about what you can do with not a lot of locations, and that was the challenge as a filmmaker with that project, was to make sure that the audience was still really into the story. But this little dog here that keeps wanting attention.
Hello. I have a dog too. He's in the other room, so it happens every so often. Comes up
Yeah.
on my leg.
But to use the locations in a very unique way and creative way to make sure that the audience would stay hooked in. And I think I managed that. There were some really cool shots. I don't know if you noticed the one where we dropped through the floor from the one.
Oh, I did. Yeah, so cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was a big shot for me because we didn't have a big budget. And we were looking at the location and the guys were like, well, there's this hole in the floor. And I was like, fucking awesome, we're gonna use it. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, we can drop the camera through it so we can get this really great shot. And I had Chris, my dolly grip, actually just balancing. It's all done with one bar and ropes because we didn't have, usually you'd have like a crane or a pulley system, and we just didn't have the budget. So it's really Chris holding two ropes and just lowering and raising the camera and steadying the camera that way as well, which is just, I mean, that man is my hero. And then Blake, the camera operator, waiting at the bottom on the second level to grab the camera and to get that final move. Yeah, it was really great. And the producers were awesome because I didn't really want to shoot coverage, because if you shoot coverage, of course, once it goes on to the network or producer level, they might cut it in terms of how they feel it should go. And Miles was really cool. I'm like, hey, Miles, we're going to move on from this. And he knew what I was saying because we have a great rapport. He's like, yeah, I think we should move on from this. So we just gave them that one option. So it made it in the film, which was really, really special to me. Very grateful for the crew. They make things happen, and they help it come to life when you imagine these things.
Yeah, I mean, that's great advice for a young filmmaker starting out as well. If you want it one way and you're afraid of getting cut, just don't give them the option. I mean, it worked out great. I would have assumed you did that on a crane as well. So, I mean, well done. And speaking of your cast, Melissa Ford and Monique Coleman, their chemistry together, they really felt like they were sisters, I mean, how did the casting go? Did you know these beforehand or?
So I knew Melissa Ford before. She was in my action film Sworn Justice, just a small cameo, which was great. Monique Coleman I had never worked with before. And then the majority of the cast came through audition. So Rebecca held auditions, and I'm quite selective. Like when I work on a film, I really do have all like even in my last film, Sworn Justice, our lead characters all auditioned, even though they're big names. We have some really lovely people. So I'm quite strict with that, just because I also, as an actor, have the understanding is like, I do believe in films there's only one person for the role, and you kind of see that, like, soon as you see the audition, you're like, oh, that's the person. However, Monique didn't audition. She came through. I think the network really wanted her as a part of the project, and we were lucky to work with her, and she's incredible. We're now very great friends. So professional, such a great energy on set, but also somebody that understands the depth that it takes to maintain a character and a character arc as the hero's journey through the story. I really admire her. She's very talented.
If you are enjoying this show, why not leave a review on Apple Podcasts? Believe it or not, really helps out the show. If you want to help out the show further, we also have a Patreon. And if you subscribe to our Patreon, a little goes a long way. We have exclusive content there that can help you in becoming a filmmaker. The music alone as well, these songs, it was, it wouldn't normally be the type of thing I'd be listening to, but I was just like, wow, this is really, really good. I like this song. I'm going to listen to this later on. How did the production of the music go about?
Yeah, I fucking love the music for this show.
Yeah.
Kebra, who and the music team was incredible. And these songs were written just for the film. They are going to be releasing them, so they're actually going to go out. They're just so good. The songs are so good, and I loved working in the studio with them. So we had a few ideas when we were writing the script, how like some of the language and how the songs would go, but we didn't really know, it wasn't brought to life. It needed Kibra and the music team to really bring it home. And so they brought some versions to me, and then I was like, no, I love that line in where it's like push that shit out from the movie, where it's from the anyways, it was kind of like that, where they were kind of doing a great job and the music was amazing, but it was a little soft. And I was like, guys, no, go hard, go all the way. And so they were like, really? I'm like, yeah, really. And they just delivered 110%. So I'm really proud of the music team and the delivery. And it was my first time working with musical artists in that way, where I was able to direct the songs to get them to exactly what I wanted for the story, for the process. And I think they're a huge part of why this particular film in this particular genre for this network is very entertaining. I think that the songs and the music really carry the project to a new level.
They do, and they do in many movies. And just in terms of like the characters' emotional states, I mean, you have like that first song where Emmanuel's character is like, "Oh, I want this to be the big hit." You really get into their emotional state, and you feel like they've been driven to release all this emotion that they really were feeling, but they didn't quite know it. And it really is just, even with Emmanuel's character, a scary concept because he's a fanatic who is trying to get these guys to make a song, but it's a very real concept too. You have the likes of, like, say, John Lennon's assassination. People do really get this crazy. Does the movie pose sort of like a warning for that lust for pain? Also, it's a good time, it's a good movie, but was that a conscious thing, as it is sort of a warning for that lust for fame?
I don't know if it was like a conscious theme or something that we woven in. It's definitely there. There's no
Yeah.
arguing it. It's definitely there. But I don't think it was a warning. I like pretty messed up dark stuff. So I was probably on the other side, where I was like, yeah, the obsession and the fame and thinking, but you're right. There is definitely a warning there, because people are so obsessive, and there is a danger to that. But I'm not sure, it wasn't subconscious on my level, or maybe it was, more in the back, but we didn't do that on purpose. That wasn't one of the goals. But yeah, I guess that's there.
Yeah, it's a good thing though, because it adds to the film. I mean, I love the dark stuff as well, just in terms of thrillers. I love anything like that where it's so layered. I mean, even with Monique's character, you could tell at times when she was in captivity, she was thinking, "Oh, well, you know what? This actually does help my career." I'm like,
Yeah.
"You've been kidnapped." They're like, "This is crazy that this is what you're thinking about." And Emmanuel just did such a good job too of playing the villain. What about him made you think this is our Isaac?
Yeah, so I had to really fight for Emmanuel. At first, he wasn't the producer's first choice, and
Really?
so which was interesting. But he just had this unique look, and I really felt like when I saw his audition that he had a really great look for the character, and it was important because he had to be intimidating. And I think that we made the right choice, and it really delivered, and it was really lovely. But yeah, it was really his audition that made me want Emmanuel for this part.
Yeah, yeah, and he did a great job. I mean, he just sort of had this power in his silence. Even when he was turning off his hearing aids, you were kind of like, "Whoa!" There's so many emotions coming through, and he's not saying a word. Which I thought was very cool. And you mentioned as well, this movie you collaborated with three different writers. I have their names written down here as well. We have Derek Alcabry, we have Jack Jill, and Alberto Halfield. What was that collaboration process like? As in, do you guys work closely on the set, or did they give you the script and go, "You do you"?
Yeah, so they weren't on the set, but we had many, many meetings before, where we were in development with the script, making changes, which I thought was very respectful of the writers. Like my footprint is definitely all over, and we worked quite intensely on the script just because there are 5 guys writing for 2 women. So it was really important that we massaged the script and that I made sure that it was from the perspective of a female character and a female's voice, so that it didn't. I find it interesting when males write females without doing that, because
Yeah.
I'm like, where are you going, or the information is, it's not to say that it can't be done. I just am very grateful for our writers, and it was probably a month and a half of just sitting down page by page, making sure it was right, and working the dialogue, and working with them, and debating, is this the right choice for that line? And it was fabulous. I love it. I'm a writer. I love doing working in scripts. I love making sure that they're honest and true. And I also love when writers are, when I'm collaborating as a director, when they're really strongly opinionated about what they should say or how they should say it. So that process was quite, I'd say, like, intense, but in a great way, in a way that I really really enjoyed.
Yeah, and that gives you room to do what you want to do. And you use filmmaking as a, I wouldn't say tool, but a sort of outlet to express your own emotions and how you feel.
Absolutely, I think like art is, it's so important, um, to do that, but to do that so that other people can see it, that see that they're not alone. Or maybe I'm lying to myself. Maybe I'm doing it so that I can feel not alone. Like the artistic level and endeavors and the things that we work on, there's so many different layers to them. Um, yeah, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. And I think it probably changes. It's probably on a pendulum where it's going from side at different moments in my life and career, whether it's going back and forth. I think it's important.
Yeah, I get what you mean. And I mean, I know you have a film coming out as well. On the 10th of April, right, Felicia, and that's another feature film coming out. But you're also doing a play too, right? You're directing a play as well, which is coming out this year too. What's the difference in, say, directing a feature film and then doing, say, a theater production? Is it completely different, or is there elements where you can take from each other?
Fear. Once they start, there's no control, man.
Yeah.
There's no I like, it's very interesting. I'm like, yeah, once they call places and they walk out there, like, I just like, go mine, go get a bomber.
Yeah, I suppose like you don't have the control you would have, do you? You don't have the
Yeah.
control you would have in a movie because you can't just say cut. It's all go. Let's just hope everything works out.
Yeah, yeah, it's really a wonderful experience. I'm really excited. This is just a workshop production, that we're doing
Hmm.
at Crash Acting, which is amazing. Um, I love this studio. These actors are really wonderful. And my hope is that maybe after we do this workshop production, that we might take it to New York to off Broadway, and continue that. So this is really like the first kind of step to that. But there's a huge difference, and I'm really balancing that, like the blocking and the emotional, the rehearsals, but it is different. However, if you were to look at theater and film, it's kind of the same, because basically what you're doing is making sure that shit's in the right place in pre-production. You're making sure that your planning is good. In theater, your blocking is good. You're hitting those notes, that you're well rehearsed, and then you go. It's kind of like theater is one take, where in film you get many takes. The experience is different, of course, for the audience, in theater and film. And I love theater. I mean, I'm dying right now to go to New York to see Jake Gyllenhaal and Denzel, like, or
Hmm.
Bella. Like, it looks amazing. It'd be great, but different, very different. Very. I'm reluctant to say this, but it is true. There's the stress, right? The stress of
Yeah.
they walk out on stage. It's hands off, which is beautiful for the actors. Then they can just do whatever the heck they want.
Yeah.
Could go either way. Either way.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, it's interesting. I mean, I hope it goes well. It's called Lungs, right? And directed by, I have his name here, Duncan Macmillan as well. So I hope people get to see that. Sounds really interesting too. What can you tell us about Felicia though? Your next feature film coming out.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. It's another one with BET. Um, she, she is it was such a fun character to play. She's definitely like there to like save the day or think she's gonna save the day, and then I'll let you guys watch it and see what happens.
Yeah.
And just so fun to do like action films and work. And that was shot in New York, in upstate New York.
Wow.
Wonderful people. So I was there. It actually was right after Trapped in the Spotlight. Yeah, because I did Trapped in the Spotlight. Then I headed over to New York. What do you want to know? Ask questions. I think that's easier about Felicia. She's a badass that
Yeah, I mean,
she gets what's coming to her, but she's a good girl.
right, okay. It sounds like a good time. It sounds like my type of movie. I'm getting like Kill Bill vibes mixed with dramas as well. It sounds interesting. It'll be good. Do send us a link and we'll watch that 100%. Is New York a character in the movie? It is in a lot of, say, American movies. New York as a city is its own character.
No, I think we're in Philly. Yeah, we're in Philadelphia in that one. So they played upstate New York for Philly.
Oh, cool, cool. I mean, what they filmed there? Filmed Rocky there as well, one of my favorite movies. I really want to go there too. It's just there's so many American cities where you have so much history of just films, you know. And I mean, us and the team, I mean, we're just like, oh, wow, you could go to where Rocky was filmed or anything like that. So it sounds super exciting. So coming up towards the end of the interview, Nicole, we always ask a similar question to our guests: is what advice would you give to filmmakers starting out? Because there's so much you could say, but there's also so much people don't know.
Mhm. I think just kind of piggybacking off what we were just talking about Rocky, I do something called with certain projects called rocking a project. And I think a lot of young filmmakers could benefit from this because sometimes when you're pitching and you're getting offers, a lot of things you're tempted to, I don't want to use the word sell out, but you're tempted to like just do the thing that they say. And I think there's really value if you look at how Rocky was made, how he wrote the script and he refused to sell it. And he refused to do that. And he made his entire career based on this very deep passion for the story. And so I call it rocking it. So I would say Rocky the projects that are close to your heart and your soul. I would say, we often hear always keep learning. But what does that mean? And recently I've been working with Ben Mathis a little bit on what does that mean. And I think that means that you're really clearing the lens at which you're seeing your art through and yourself through. Because when we make projects in film, it's kind of like holding up a mirror. So I don't want to say the cleaner, but the healthier, whatever healthy means to you, you are, I think, the more interesting and unique and complicated and intricate your art can be. And I think so, like, continuing that could mean learning on many different levels, not just technical, not just film, but what does that mean for yourself for growing? For me, sometimes it means yoga, or sometimes it means just going and hanging out and having a bottle of champagne and getting that energy off and just deepening the practice of creative thinking.
Yeah, I mean, rockying it is, to be honest, I've asked that question to every guest we've had, and that is the best answer I've ever gotten. I mean, Sylvester Stallone even liked one of our reels last week, and I jumped out of my seat. It was just a bit like a normal reel about, I can't even remember, it might have been about Vincent D'Onofrio talking about how he played a character in Daredevil. And I followed Sylvester Stallone's sort of journey closely, like one of the biggest Rocky fans in the world I am, you know? It's just like, that's the best advice I think we've gotten so far. Rockying it, stick to your guns, know what you want to do, and make your project what you know it can be. You know,
Yep. and
of
don't and don't
course.
give in, like it's really important to just continue down that path because the story is, have you heard this saying? I think it might have been from David Lynch, the story where it's like everybody has an idea for a certain amount of time, and if you don't grab onto that idea and make it happen, you don't make the film happen, the idea will eventually find another outlet, whether that's another
Yeah.
filmmaker to come out. And so it's an interesting thing because there's an energy element to what we're doing. And so hold on to your energy and get what you need out of it too.
Yeah. No, big time, big time. I love that quote myself. I have it on my phone somewhere, but it's just just stick to what you know. You know. Well, Nicole, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show today and having a chat about films, which I love, you love, and I love the movies you make. You know, I can't wait to see Felicia. I mean, do send us a link. I'd love to see it. I love Trapped in the Spotlight. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep making the movies, and I can't wait to see what you do next.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. It's been an honor. I can't wait to talk again.
Ah, fantastic. And if you're coming to Ireland again, let us know and the team will take you out for one of the best Guinnesses in Dublin, okay? Because not every pub is the same, all right? You can get some of them where you're like, ugh. I mean, there's a few pubs we have on the list that are just,
Yeah,
spectacular.
the best Guinness at the best pub with the timing and the pipes and
Yeah.
everything has got to be right.
There's a pub called Fallon's in Dublin city centre, which is just fantastic. So me and the team will take you there and we go for a good Guinness.
I would absolutely love that. You're on.
All right, cool. All right, Nicole, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much.
No worries. Thanks, Nicole. Pleasure talking to you. Have a good day. Wow, one hell of an interview. Nicole is really interesting. She's cool, you know. She just wants to sit back, have a Guinness. She likes the Irish. You can't argue with that. Chris, what did you think of Nicole?
Oh, Nicole, man, down to earth, very nice, very kind human. You can just tell that she's just on here just to talk about what she's passionate about. Well, we're all kind of passionate about on this show. So yeah, man, it was just really enjoyable to, as always, listen from behind the scenes. It's great just to have someone of her caliber on the show.
Yeah, so if Nicole's ever in Ireland, we'll go for a Guinness with her.
If Guinness wants to sponsor us, they certainly can.
In other news, Chris, have you seen the newest 2 episodes of Daredevil?
Oh man, the last 2 episodes I actually kind of liked. I wasn't mad about the bank episode just because it kind of felt a bit filler, but it seems like with this season it kind of is hot and cold. You get the occasional great episode and the next episode's kind of just, it's there. And like obviously, what did they say? They have like 16 episodes, maybe I'm wrong, so I get it. But I just wish, considering they have that many episodes, they just have it nice and neat. You know, but also I don't want just 6 episodes like a lot of other Disney Plus shows. I watched a bit late to this movie now, but I watched Elvis the other night, and I was just scrolling through, I think it was Disney Plus or whatever, and I was like, ah, fuck it, because I've been avoiding watching that movie like the plague for like the last 2 years or something, just because I don't like Austin Butler. I know, like, and obviously, like, a reason why I don't like Austin Butler is definitely just because he couldn't let go of that goddamn accent for like 2 years. And I just felt like he was kind of a bit exaggerated and like, you know, like I felt like he was more impersonating him than playing him. But after watching the movie, my opinion's changed. I actually liked it. It was interesting getting the perspective, the stories being told in the perspective of the Colonel. So yeah, no, really good movie. Austin was great in it. While I still think he's kind of a bit exaggerated, great movie. And maybe my opinion on him has changed a bit. And then I watched, last night, I watched Priscilla, of course, the Elvis Presley's wife's, that's her kind of, her side of the story, her biopic. And gotta say, I liked it as well. Probably not as much as Elvis, but it's only just because I'm not really crazy about those slow burn kind of movies. I think Sofia Coppola directed Priscilla, and yeah, it's kind of her style to kind of have these slow, but it was still a great movie. You know, just seeing the other side of the story. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Elvis and Priscilla. I mean, you're a little bit late to the game there, man, but good movies, yeah. I mean, they're kind of 2 polar opposite takes on the same story, but Priscilla is, you know, based off the actual Priscilla Presley's book, and Elvis is based off Baz Luhrmann's kind of interpretation of how he sees the king, you know. I mean, in terms of a movie, they're both good. They're both really good films. I kind of prefer Elvis with Austin Butler because it's, in terms of watching a film, it's a better time. Well, that does it for the show today. Thank you for sticking till the end. If you want to get your name shouted out at the end of the show, do subscribe to our Patreon where I'll say your name right here at the end. We have a tier list and such. You can see a little goes a long way. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Next week, we'll be here again with another guest. In the next couple of weeks, we have some fantastic guests coming up. If you're fans of big shows, big games as well, I mean, you won't be disappointed. Anyway, folks, see you next week.